Hello dear student, last time we studied the application of electrogravimetry. In that we studied the first point, that is electrolytic separation of the metal with control cathode potential. In that case we are considering the two method in coulometric method, control cathode potential of electrode, that is first method that we already studied in the previous lecture, and second with the constant current. So for the constant current we can select here electrolytic separation of copper and nickel. So student, in this particular case constant current electrolysis is used for the separation of determination of the metal in the alloy. Means this method is generally useful for the separation of the different type of metal which is present in the alloy. Alloy is nothing but the combination of two or more metal. One such a series of alloy, for example here we are considering alloy like monel metal, coinage metal, cupronickel alloy, which contains preferentially copper and nickel as a metal and iron as an impurity which is present in the particular alloy. So student, in this particular case the impurity is removed and the two metals are electrodeposited at different applied potential. First of all we have to remove the impurity. So let us see, copper and nickel lie on the opposite side of the hydrogen in the activity series. You know very well that in the previous lecture we study that copper and hydrogen are lie on the opposite side of the activity series. So there is only control pH should be required to separate that particular metal. Let us see the practical separation of the alloy. So for that purpose we are going to consider the 0.5 gram of the alloy. In that, in a beaker we are consider 100 ml distilled water. That distilled water is added 0.5 gram of alloy. After that we have to add 1:2 proportion of H2SO4 and HNO3, that is nothing but the sulfuric acid and nitric acid respectively. That particular solution get boiled for few minutes. After that it is get cooled. So electrolyze with the platinum gauze cathode and platinum wire as an anode. So here the copper in the acidic pH at near about 4 volt with the 2 to 4 ampere current get deposited on the respective electrode. After deposition of that copper ion, that particular electrode get dry and weight of the copper get noted. After that the remaining solution which is present during the electrolysis process get evaporate to remove that nitric acid and Fe get precipitated with the help of ammonia. Here that solution get converted into the alkaline media. After filtration the alkaline solution having the nickel is deposited on the electrode, and again we have to dry that particular electrode. After drying we are getting the nickel weight. Generally here deposition of the nickel is just after the deposition of the top of the copper. Means at the top of the copper we have to deposit the nickel. The separation and the determination of both the copper and nickel is achieved by this electrolytic method. So here in this particular example of the electrolytic separation of copper and nickel we are maintaining the constant current electrolysis method. So student, in this way different type of alloy gets separated with the help of this same method. Only the main difference between the previous one is here we maintain the current, and at the previous example we does not maintain the current, or there are different type of method generally useful for the separation of the different type of metal in the electrogravimetry analysis. So student, if do you have any problem regarding to this topic, you can ask in discussion forum.